So we've already seen some incredible anime from spring 2018, and this was a show I was looking forward to, which I just happened to by coincidence to be like checking out like the original source of this when this was coming out. Like it was like, holy shit, like this actually looks really interesting. This is obviously being a game adaptation. I was like, I want to see what the anime version has for Caligula. Like I thought, like generally when I was looking at stuff for the game, it looked really interesting, and one of the main reasons was because of some of the drastic things that it has in its gameplay and some of its designs, and that is because Caligula, the game, was worked on people that worked on Persona 3. So a lot of high expectations. You can definitely tell that from the first episode of this, and also as well by a lot of the not even the character. I feel like just how some of the characters look as well. Like they kind of remind me of like if they would be Shin Megami Tensei or Persona characters. And I feel like this show couldn't have come at a worse time when Persona 5's anime came out. It literally came out yesterday as of this recording, so it's gonna be a very harsh comparison to the show. But I will say, definitely for this show, it has a slow episode. It takes a while for this episode to start going because it wants to introduce the characters. There's a lot of philosophy going, but when it finally hits that mark where nothing is right, like everything is completely going to shit, that is like the bit where I was like, oh, this is now going somewhere. Let's see this, because I'm interesting. Like the theme of music, psychology, and a bunch of other things. And I say music as well because of the main thing where everything is centering around this character Mew, or you as theorists call it, and it's pretty much the Japanese Hatsune Miku version, where it's like, hey, this is let's have a look at this kind of little girl as Vocaloid that is super popular and everyone listens to her, but there's a little secret revolving around her, and we get to see this from the perspective of Shikishima, I believe his name was, who is this dude that is obsessed, and I mean obsessed with psychology, reading into people's minds, where it's if you're more open about yourself, it may really reveal yourself to others, and then but also as well there's this hidden little side that you want to see people he starts going on to this. And I feel like definitely the one thing that did drag the episode a bit was there was a lot of times where he had to stop and say, and it's he's trying to explain these theories to people, and it was 2 times where people went, I don't get it. They literally go, yeah, no, I don't get it, and then he has to dumb it down and say it again, and I was like, come on, the audience isn't stupid. It's just they kind of understand this as you don't need to go but unfortunately his friends are morons, so it's yeah, no, you gotta see this. And you get to see from this perspective when you're seeing him where he's he's a decent kid for the most part. He's a bit little bit in the know-it-all for the most part, but decent kid, good grades. You get to see though things happen. He just happens to be listening to this idol and you at one point, and then he's hearing screams of help from his phone. He starts noticing people are acting differently. There is this guy that is fighting in the middle of the street, and I really did like this bit where everyone stopped when he was hey, yeah, I heard this word cry for help on when I was listening to the song, as he starts playing it again, because they really want to keep playing those songs over again in this episode, where it's no, listen to the song, it's a good song, we get it, it's a good song. And everyone and his friends just ignore it, and then they turn around to that dude that's fighting people, and it's why is he fighting guys in the middle of the street? Everyone stops, turns, and he's just this robotic thing, and I was what the fuck is going on? And he's beating the literal shit out of everyone, and it's whoa, what, what is going on here right now? Even as well when you see with one of the other one of the main female characters as well, you see a mom is has anorexia, and it's you clearly see where she's she is not eating, she's oh no, I might get fat again, and it's she's just malnourished and she's not eating. She turns around, and it's the more obvious one out of them all, where it's her mother just suddenly just looks healthy, slim, looks great, and it's they were talking about how like your mind plays like tricks on like on what reality is, and then also mentioning that it's like things are literally changing, like how we're perceiving the world right now and how people view it, and it was like, what the fuck? And it all escalates to the graduation ceremony where it just music starts appearing out of like the fucking ethers. People start transforming into these demonic monsters, and she is just singing through the crowd of as carnage is being, as people are being getting ripped apart. And I was like, it's not, that was the one thing, it's not a gory show, you don't see really any of this, but it is for like, you're hearing some audible screams and you're hearing people getting attacked by like creepy monsters that used to be the students. It's like, that, yeah, there was a lot of like weird shit happening in the episode. The only thing that dragged it down was its pacing. I understood that they had to, a lot of it was like setting up the characters, and I hope this kind of goes somewhere, because like definitely the first episode, and like to give, like I said, I've given context is that I've been really interested in the game. I have seen a couple of things that happen in it. I really like the gameplay mechanics, and I really hope, because there is a remake of this game that is like, I believe it hasn't been announced to coming out over here, but I hope they do, because it generally sounds interesting with some of the stuff they have, and how music is such an important factor to the series, as like a lot of the songs in the game are like heavily focused on it, and I was like, clearly they're doing that with the first episode where it's like, no, it's a big thing as well, with like music is still a big thing with like new singing and a lot of things going on. I just hope we don't hear those tracks like multiple, like 5-6 times throughout like the rest of the run. That would be the drive down. Yeah, I will say it's like, if we're gonna be like that thing, because we've literally got another show like this season, and it's what it took, it's literally from the same people that made like the Persona franchise. Persona 5 has a better art direction, and if I'm being honest, but then again, we're like, if I'm being honest here, the Persona 5 game does it a lot fucking better, like better than like the Persona 5 anime. If I would say which one had the better first episode, I would say P5 still, because like as much as I was fascinated by some of the stuff that this guy was saying about like when he was going on about his like psychology rant, and when he was like talking about, man, that it did feel like it went to a bit of the grind. I was like, I know like it's like we can learn this stuff in the second episode, but unfortunately it's like a lot of people have to be like, we kind of want to, you know, the first episode has got to be a little bit bombastic, so maybe they stick to a little too true to like the video games, like like sometimes if you don't want to be too faithful with it, or even if just that, like honestly, if you want to just change events around and, you know, get a little bit to the good shit at the start, and then we slow it down for the second episode. It's like, no, let's turn you around. I feel like that's a shame, because I know a lot of people really go off by the first episode in these shows, and I like, definitely this is a show where I'm like, I want to check out more of this. I was generally interested in it, and then when it actually just, like, it's been a while when I went, what in the actual fuck? When she's just started appearing and singing, and then just all of them transform, I'm like, oh, this is happening right now. Alright then, sure, why not? Like, it was interesting, to say the least. I was definitely like intrigued throughout the entire episode, and yeah, if it's good, it's good. I really do hope like it turns out to be something special. But then again, like, I want to know if people have played the games, like if they've played the Caligula game, and if like there's a clear like difference, if they are changing material, because I would like to know that, because like I said, I know just a couple of battle things. I know mainly the tracks are the things I know a lot from this game, and I hope they just take some of them, because some of those tracks are fucking fantastic. But I've talked more enough. I would definitely say, yeah, watch the episode yourself, and if you are bored beyond tears, not for you. If you was like, there's some interesting shit in this episode, and there's some really cool designs here and there. I saw in the opening, it's like, people actually had some really wacky designs. I will say the one that looks fucking dumb was that fighter dude, because he has a giant hand cat. Like, it's a giant revolver that is the size of a fucking car. And I was like, might want to, like, you know, Photoshop that thing down a little side. And it was like, no, look at the big dumb anime gun. And I'm like, yes, I'm looking at it, but it's fucking dumb still. Like, it's so fucking big, this gun. It's like, okay. But overall, yeah, apart from the nitpicks and the pacing, it was a good, I liked the episode. I liked the first episode, and I will definitely check out more Caligula because of its pedigree, mainly. Like, I want to see more of it, but let me know what you guys think. That's all for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.